In 1965, America didn't just watch The Sound of Music, it inhaled it. At a time when headlines were filled with war, protest, and uncertainty, this film arrived like oxygen. A young woman spinning on a mountain, a widowed captain rediscovering his heart, children harmonizing against the shadow of Nazism. It looked effortless, wholesome, almost divinely protected. But here's what most audiences never knew. Behind that pristine alpine glow was a production hanging by a thread. A studio still bleeding from financial disaster, dangerous stunts that could have ended in tragedy, actors clashing, songs cut, history rewritten for emotional impact. The Serenity you remember was constructed under pressure so intense, it nearly cracked the entire production apart. And once you see what was really happening behind those mountains, you'll realize the miracle wasn't the music, it was that the film survived at all. 1. The studio was fighting for its life. Before a single note echoed across the Alps, The Sound of Music carried the weight of a collapsing empire. 20th Century Fox was still reeling from the catastrophic overspending of Cleopatra, a production so bloated it nearly sank the studio. Executives didn't see a charming musical, they saw a last gamble. Every delay in Austria felt like a financial hemorrhage. Every cloudy sky meant another day of payroll without progress. The film wasn't nurtured, it was pressured into existence. And that desperation bled into every department. Cast and crew understood this wasn't just another job. If this picture failed, it wouldn't be a disappointment. It would be an obituary. 2. The opening shot was physical warfare. That iconic image of Julie Andrews spinning freely on a hilltop looks effortless. It wasn't. Director Robert Wise insisted on aerial photography to immerse audiences instantly. The helicopter's rotor wash blasted Andrews off her feet repeatedly. She fell. She stood up. She fell again. Each take bruised her ribs and rattled her patience. The camera captured serenity. The crew witnessed endurance. The beauty of that opening isn't just cinematic, it's stubborn resilience etched into celluloid. 3. A boat scene nearly turned deadly. The cheerful lake sequence hides one of the production's most frightening moments. When the rowboat flipped, chaos replaced choreography instantly. One of the child actors could not swim, and what was scripted as playful splashing became genuine danger. Julie Andrews reacted without hesitation, pulling the struggling child upward before panic spread further. Cameras kept rolling, but the mood behind them shifted fast. The scene that feels spontaneous and charming on screen carries the invisible imprint of real fear, an unsettling reminder of how thin the line was between illusion and disaster. 4. Christopher Plummer didn't want the role. Before he became synonymous with Captain Von Trapp, Christopher Plummer dismissed the material as overly sentimental. He worried it would trap him in a wholesome musical persona, far removed from the serious stage roles he valued. That reluctance shaped the performance audiences cherish. Instead of playing the captain as gentle from the start, Plummer infused him with rigidity, skepticism, and emotional distance. The transformation feels earned because it mirrors his own guarded entry into the project. The tension wasn't artificial, it was embedded in the actor himself, giving the character unexpected depth. 5. Edelweiss wasn't entirely his voice. When the captain softly sings Edelweiss, the intimacy feels personal and unfiltered. In reality, much of the vocal heard in the final cut was provided by dubbing artist Bill Lee. The studio blended Lee's voice seamlessly with Plummer's on-screen presence to achieve the tonal quality they wanted. The substitution was nearly undetectable, and audiences accepted the performance as wholly authentic. Behind the scenes, it was another example of classic Hollywood precision craft, layered over performance, designed so flawlessly that viewers never questioned what they were hearing. 6. Austria resisted the Nazi imagery. Filming in Salzburg meant confronting a history still painfully recent. Displaying swastikas for the occupation scenes stirred unease among local residents and officials. Less than 2 decades had passed since the war, and those symbols were not distant artifacts, they were lived memories. Negotiations became necessary to proceed respectfully. Some locations declined involvement altogether. The production adjusted, using restraint and discretion in staging those moments. The film's careful balance between historical tension and emotional warmth reflects that sensitivity, shaped as much by local memory as by Hollywood storytelling instincts. Number 7. The Alpine escape is cinematic myth. The soaring escape over the Alps in The Sound of Music feels triumphant, but it never happened that way. The real Von Trapps left by train, not on foot. The nearby border led into Germany, not Switzerland. Still, mountains offered visual poetry, struggle, ascent, freedom, far more powerful than a railway departure ever could. 8. The villa was an illusion. The Von Trapp mansion appears seamless, yet it was a patchwork of separate locations and studio interiors. Lakeside terraces, grand halls, and exterior facades never coexisted in one place. Matte paintings expanded views beyond reality. Through careful editing and design, filmmakers created a unified estate that existed only through craftsmanship and cinematic precision. 9. Rain tested everyone's patience. Austria's relentless rain disrupted weeks of filming, threatening schedules and budgets. Sunshine became rare and urgent. When skies cleared, production accelerated to capture every usable frame. The radiant alpine beauty audiences admire was secured during fleeting breaks in bad weather, shaped by persistence and a refusal to surrender to gray skies. 10. 16, going on 17, came at a cost. The gazebo dance looks effortless, but Charmian Carr injured her ankle during filming. Slick surfaces and demanding choreography made every leap risky. Production continued despite the strain. Her bright smile concealed real discomfort, turning a romantic fantasy into a quiet testament to professional endurance. 11. 2 Broadway songs disappeared. The stage musical included How Can Love Survive and No Way to Stop It. Both were removed for the film. Their absence streamlined pacing and softened certain characters. By trimming excess, the adaptation sharpened emotional focus, creating the version audiences now consider definitive and timeless. 12. 2 songs were written just for film. I Have Confidence and Something Good were composed specifically for the movie. They deepen Maria's emotional arc and the captain's vulnerability. Seamlessly integrated, these songs feel original to the story, proving the film wasn't merely adapted, it was thoughtfully expanded for the cinematic medium. 13. The real Maria walked through a scene. During I Have Confidence, the real Maria Von Trapp briefly appears in Salzburg. It's a subtle cameo, easily missed. That fleeting presence connects Hollywood's polished narrative with the woman whose life inspired it, blending lived history with cinematic memory. 14. The children studied between takes. The young actors balanced filming with formal schooling. Tutors worked on set, shifting them from harmonies to homework within minutes. Their discipline shaped performances that felt natural yet focused. Behind the charm was structure education unfolding quietly between camera resets. 15. Edelweiss held unexpected vulnerability. During the Salzburg festival scene, Christopher Plummer later admitted he had been drinking before filming. The slight tremor and visible emotion added authenticity to Edelweiss. Whether deliberate or not, that fragility intensified one of the film's most unforgettable moments. 16. The real family earned little. The Von Trapp family had sold their story rights years earlier for a modest sum. When the film became a global phenomenon, profits largely bypassed them. Their real-life courage fueled cinematic triumph, yet financial reward remained disproportionately small. 17. Artists painted the Alps. Even in Austria, matte paintings extended mountain vistas. Skilled artists blended canvas with landscape so seamlessly, audiences never questioned the scale. Before digital effects, illusion relied on paint, light, and precision craftsmanship, hidden behind breathtaking scenery. 18. It became a cultural anchor. When released, the film offered comfort during turbulent times. Its themes of unity and resilience resonated deeply. Winning 5 Academy Awards, it stabilized a struggling studio and became generational ritual. Decades later, it endures not just as entertainment, but as shared emotional memory. The story behind The Sound of Music reveals something profound about enduring art. It isn't born from ease, it rises from constraint, tension, and belief in something larger than individual discomfort. Helicopters knocked actors down, weather stalled ambition, history complicated storytelling, pride absorbed quiet compromises, and still, the film sings. What remains decades later isn't just melody. It's evidence that collaboration under pressure can create beauty that outlives circumstance. When you revisit those mountains, you're not just watching a musical, you're witnessing resilience set to harmony, a reminder that even in uncertain times, voices raised together can steady the world. What endures about The Sound of Music isn't just its melodies or mountain views, it's the resilience behind them. A studio on the brink took a risk. Actors pushed through injury, doubt, and pressure. Artists painted worlds that didn't exist. History was reshaped to deliver emotional truth. The lesson is simple but powerful. Lasting art is rarely born from comfort. It rises from discipline, collaboration, and belief when the odds feel uncertain. That's the legacy Harmony forged under strain. If this deeper look changed how you see the film, subscribe to the channel for more behind-the-scenes stories that reveal the hidden battles behind Hollywood's greatest classics. Share your favorite moment below, and let's keep the conversation and the music alive.